Hello everyone, this is Vickie Wind again, back for our November craft. It is a mason jar candle holder. It comes with a little candle to put inside when you're done. Before we get started right now, I wanted to show you what our next month, December's craft, is going to be, and it is a little Christmas gnome. So hopefully we'll see you then. Let's get started. Hello everyone, let's get started making our candle holder, mason jar candle holder. The first thing we want to tell you about is, for your jar, make sure that it's really clean. You can do it with soap and water and let it dry really well. I used some rubbing alcohol, just putting some on a paper towel like that, and then we just rub it all over, but soap and water will do as well. And get all of the grease from fingerprints or dust so that our leaves will stick much, much better. Okay, once that is done, while it's drying, let's go ahead and talk about your lid. To do the lid, I've provided the sunflower and the little strip to go around the top of the cap. So it will look like this. Basically, you just take the piece of ribbon I've already glued together for you and press it around the lid right near the edge all the way around, and then do a little hot glue right there. So the things you probably will need are hot glue from home, a pair of scissors, and some plastic wrap. That really helps the leaves stick and dry without shifting. So once you do that, I would take your flower. There's a little edge I've left on so that it wouldn't come apart. You might just cut that off as close as you can to here, and then you just hot glue it right onto the top of the lid after you've done your ribbon. Okay, so now that the lid is done, the other thing you're going to get in your craft kit, besides the jar and the decorations for the lid, you're also going to get some raffia to do a little bow, and that's going to go right at the top of the jar down here, so that the lid, if you wanted to screw it on, that it won't get in the way. Then, to start, once that's all dry, I would take the Mod Podge and just do a light coating. This is very all the way around because I like to give it time to get tacky. Give it a little time, just a nice thin coat. Move it around all over. Now, when this dries, you'll get a frosted look, and you can leave it that way, or you can scratch off in between your leaves, or you could cover the whole thing with leaves, however you'd like to do it. So once that's all nice and covered in Mod Podge, I let it dry for just a minute, and then I pick out which leaves I want to use. The softer the leaves, the easier they will stick. So if it feels soft, the other ones you can use, you just might need to put a little plastic wrap over it to get it to lay down and let it to stick really well. Once that has sat for just a little bit, it starts to get a little tacky. Once you feel that it's starting to get a little sticky, then you think, okay, let's pick out our first leaf. And this is good. And then what I do is I usually take just a tiny bit of Mod Podge, and I just sort of do a little bit on the back like this, just a tiny bit. Don't do a whole bunch, just a little bit on the back. And then I decide how I want it on there, and I press it down, and I hold it for about, I'd say 10-15 seconds, pressing it down all the way around. And then hopefully it'll be tacky enough and stick real well. Some leaves will stick better than others. I sure did find that out. So if I take the next leaf, this one's a little stiffer, so it might be a little harder. We just do a little bit on the back, like this. And then decide how you want it done. Let's go upside down this time. And then I hold it and I press. Press down really good into it. And if it sticks well, we're good to go to pick out another leaf. Sometimes you might have to take a little piece of saran wrap or plastic wrap, whatever you have, and lay it over there to get it to hold down. Let's take our next piece, and I do just a little bit, just dab it a little bit. not too much, just a little dab. I let it dry a little bit, and then I'll do one up here, like this direction. And then I hold it down all the way around about, I'd say 10 seconds, 10, 15 seconds, pressing down all the way around like this. If something starts to pop up, press it down again. Now you can cover it as much as you want in leaves or as little, however you might want any of the light to shine through. So let's do one of these. So let's take this, just do a little Mod Podge on the back. Don't need much. There's a lot still in this foam brush, so you probably don't even need to stick it back in. And then I'm going to do it like this and then press it down. Press it down and hold. There we go. Now let's go to the next one. I kind of like this one. Now this might be a stiffer one, so I sort of rub it together, trying to get it to be a little softer. This one's a different shape, so I'd like to try a different shape. Then I take just a little bit and I press it on the back. There we go. I'm going to do like this one, however directions you want to put it, and then I press it down, press it down. There we go. It's nice and tacky. Might want to Mod Podge a little over things now. Not too much. Press it down. Mod Podge just a little over everything. Gives it a little gloss when it dries. And even if it sticks up a little bit, we'll put some saran wrap on that and it'll press it down. Now, I see a little bit of hole right here that maybe I'd like a little leaf. So let's look, maybe one of these tiny leaves. So I'll crunch it up, make it maybe a little softer. Open it up, put a little bit of Mod Podge on the back. It's a little one. Let's see. I think I'm going to put it here. Press it down. Press it down. Be careful not to get too many leaves too close to where the lid's going to screw on. And then you look, say, do I want anywhere else? Do I want more light? This will frost up after it dries. It'll be like a frosty, and then if you don't like it, you can always take a fingernail or something a little sharper and just scratch it off. I think I'm going to put another one on, one of the little smaller ones. So I just press a little bit of it down. There we go. I think I'll place it right here. Now that's pressing down pretty well. There we go. Now once you have everything on the way you'd like it, because this side will have more light, this is a little more covered, I would take some saran wrap, little pieces cut into squares, and just lay it over and press it down over your leaves. Like that. Just take some little pieces and press it down over your leaves like that. One more, and I think I've got all my leaves now covered with saran wrap. you see anything sticking up, then you can just cover it with another piece until everything's covered. And then I squeeze it down, press it down, so that everything's pressed hard into the jar. And then we let it set overnight, and I'll come back and we'll finish it up. See you soon. Hello everyone, back again now that all of the leaves are nice and dry and clear. It's time to pull off our saran wrap. So all you have to do is gently peel it off. Gently, gently peel it off, making sure that as you peel, none of the leaves start to come up with it. And if they do, just stop and hold your finger down on that leaf and then pull the rest of it off. If it starts to come off, you just hold that piece down and then take off the rest of it. And once you have peeled off all your saran wrap, you'll notice that where the Mod Podge was, it's sort of frosty looking, and you can leave it that way or scratch it off for a clearer look. I also added the raffia bow, and I just tied it right around the bottom of where your lid will be. At the very, very bottom, turn it around, tie a little bow, and then clip the ends. Then for your lid, as we talked about before, wanted to make sure that when you put your sunflower on the top and you hot glue it, I made the mistake the first time I did it that I just pushed down from the top and it popped this part of the lid out that I'd already hot glued. So when you put on your hot glue and put your flower on, grip from the bottom and press together like this and hold it, and that will keep the flower in place. So the last thing to do now is that you also have a little candle in your kit, and there's a little switch at the bottom. All you have to do is push it over and it lights it up. And then you can just drop that in the bottom of your jar and it's lit, and you can see that shining through little of the light on a lot of the areas. And this one I had a few leaves on, so more light's going to come through, where my other sample that's been displayed has more leaves on it, so you're not going to quite see as much of the light coming through. So that's up to you how you want to do it. And if you're using our little flameless candle, of course, you can use the lid, but you can always use a real candle and just not put the lid on. So I hope you enjoyed this craft and hope to see you next month for our Christmas gnome. Enjoy!